Hey guys, I'm Mol today. So in today's video we're talking about the Saturday games, round 5 of Super Rugby Trans-Tasman. So yeah, this means I'll be talking about the Rebels versus the Crusaders, the Blues versus the Western Force, and of course the Waratahs versus the Chiefs. So first of all, Rebels Crusaders should be a very interesting game to watch, probably the most intriguing game to watch out of the Saturday games in my opinion. You know, the Crusaders do need a bonus point from this game, really, to get into that playoff final. It's going to be I'm not going to say a tough one, but of course they have to kind of the good thing you could say from their point of view is that they can actually see the amount of points they have to get from the Brumbies Highlanders game, because of course the Highlanders, they're also trying into that playoff final and they also have a chance as well, but there'll be less. You could say if the Highlanders don't get a bonus point, for example, that puts less pressure on the Crusaders, but of course if they do, then the Crusaders have to kind of go kind of match that or go above what they've done. So it's going to be very interesting to see what the Crusaders do within this game. But of course they brought their A game out, and we'll see what happens. But with the Rebels, of course, on the other hand, they did lose last week against the Chiefs. So hopefully they did show, you could say, some resilience. But hopefully they can try to improve upon the last round of their competition. Anyway, moving on. Here is the lineups, of course, for both sides. I'm going to buy you guys, and I'll tell you what I think about them. And I'll give my prediction afterwards, of course, as well. So with the Rebels, of course, you do have the likes of Cameron Orr, as well as Jordan Uacy and Elov. So it's one of those which I think that combination's actually worked very well for the Rebels, but it just hasn't really worked against the New Zealand sides, in my opinion. I mean, against the Australian sides, it was pretty good, actually, in my opinion. But it's just one of those which, against the New Zealand sides, New Zealand just, they're just better in the scrums, really. They want a lot more penalties within that, scrum penalties. So for that reason, it's just one of those which the Rebels front row will have to definitely improve on. Anyway, for the locks, of course, you do have the likes of Lotea and Hosea, so a pretty good combination there, I'd say, for the Rebels. I mean, with the loose forward trio, they do have the likes of Michael Wells, who, of course, is captaining the Rebels for the first, I believe, for not his first time, but he's done it in the past, but he hasn't done it in a very long time, so this is a good appearance for him, obviously. Richard Harbour, obviously, at that 7 jersey, and, of course, Nazarani at that 8. So he's going to be a big player for them within this game for sure if they were to make some kind of impact within this game. Anyway, moving on to the backs, of course, for the Rebels, you do the likes of Joe Powell as well as Carter Gordon making it about 9-10 combination. So it should be interesting to see how those two play together, because within the last 2 games they actually have done pretty well. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, obviously for their centers, they actually have made some switches in the sense where they haven't actually gone with Matt Tamura. So I believe that the first game they've actually rested him. And they've actually gone with Glenn Valu, so it's an interesting one. I haven't seen him play in particular, but we'll see how he does. And of course, his partner in crime will be Andrew Callaway. Obviously, he can play winger, but he's been shifted into that centre spot at 13. So for the wingers, of course, you do the likes of Murray Corbett at the 11 spot, and of course, you do the likes of Frank Lamani, who obviously can play winger / scrum half, so it'll be interesting to see how he does within that position. But more or less, George Ward obviously keeps his place at 15. So good side say for the Rebels, and not too many changes in my opinion. So then moving on to the Crusaders, of course, this is you could say their A team in that sense, besides one player in my opinion. I mean, you do have the likes of George Bauer, as well as Burley McAllister and Michael Alatoa, so of course the one player I'm mentioning is Cody Taylor, who isn't going to be playing in this game. In my opinion, I do think he needs a rest. I think he's played all games so far, so I can understand why he's not playing within this one. But Burley McAllister will definitely do the job for sure. And George Bauer obviously returning back, and I believe he's back in place of Tenali Williams, who played last week's game. Moving on to the locks, of course, you do the likes of Scott Barrett as well as Sam Whitelock, and of course Barrett is the captain, so hopefully he'll be trying to kind of pursue, get his team on board and try to look at that bonus point victory. With the loose forwards, of course, you do the likes of Ethan Butler kind of returning back into the side. That's a big one for the Crusaders, because he was brilliant for them within Super Rugby Altamira, and hopefully you can kind of translate that form within this game for sure. With the 7 and 8 jersey, they're going with the likes of Sino Havili as well as Y2 Douglas. So it should be an interesting combination to see how those two play together. More or less, I mean, with their back line, they have gone with the standard, in my opinion. This is probably their best back line, to say the least. But they've gone with the likes of Richard Drummond at 9, and of course Richard Morrow returning back into the side at 10. So both Drummond and Morrow returning back into the side, so that's going to be a big, you could say, plus for the Crusaders in this game for sure. Of course, you do for the center combination, you do the likes of David Avili and Brett Enor, so probably the best combination again, so that they're going to cause a lot of damage to those two for sure. I mean, even with the likes of the wingers with Lester Fanyanku, obviously getting that new contract, which is huge in the sense for New Zealand Rugby as well as the Crusaders, so great to see that happening, and obviously he's a key player that the All Blacks see for the future. That's good to see. Of course, Severese is still in there at 14, and he can cause all times of chaos in that sense. And of course, you have the likes of Will Jordan, who will obviously looking to find gaps within the defense. So, yeah, overall pretty standard team in that sense. Should do some. You can say some work against the Rebels, but we'll see how much damage they can kind of do. But yeah, if Untitled actually wins this game, I think I have to back the Crusaders, but it's one of those which do I give them the bonus point in that sense? I think I think they're going to get the bonus. I think they'll get the bonus point. I think they will get it, and it's one of those where I think they'll win it by at least. I think they'll go by a large margin. So I'm going to say by at least 18 points. So yeah, I'll say they'll win this game. I don't know. I mean, it could be even more than that. I'll say they'll win this game by 21 points. Yeah, I'll say they'll win this game by 21 points. So I'll say they win this game, 38 points. I'd say 38 points to 15. No, sorry, not 38 points to 15. Jeez. 38 points to, Actually, no, I'll say 38 points to 15. It kind of rings a bell for some reason. I'll say that's the scoreline for the game. Then we're moving on to the next game, of course, which is the Blues versus the Western Force. Should be an interesting game to watch, obviously, with the Blues wanting to get their win here and obviously secure that place within the playoff final. Of course, if they do win this game, that does mean that they secure the place as also getting the playoff final, but also a home final, which is very crucial for the Blues. Of course, the last time they actually played in a home playoff final was 2003. So yeah, this will be a very long time. And of course, it's going to be the first time the Blues actually get into you could say the knockout stages or the playoffs within the last 10 years. This is 10 years from now. I think the last time they got into the playoffs was when they got all the way against the Reds within the semi-finals. So yeah, it's one of those which that was my first ever Super Rugby season I watched. So it's just crazy to think that this is going to be there if they don't muck it up. But we'll have to wait and see. Yeah, of course, with the Western Force on the other hand, they will be looking to you could say continue their, I'm not going to say dominance, but they'll be continuing to at least push teams to the limits in that sense. Obviously last week they got that they kind of, I'm not going to say ruin the chances of the Crusaders, but they kind of snatched that bonus point victory away from the Crusaders in the last minute. So hopefully they'll be trying to look to do the same thing within this game. But of course the Blues are playing at home, so they will have home advantage, but we'll obviously how that goes into favour. Of course, here's the lineups for both teams. I'll run them by you guys, and I'll tell you what I think about them, and I'll give my prediction afterwards. So of course for the Blues, you do have the likes of Alex Hodgman, as well as Kurt Eklund and Neville Lalala, making that the front row for the Blues. Pretty good front row, standard in that sense. I wouldn't say it's their best one, of course. They're resting the likes of Carlton Wafe as well as Offerton Fassi. Obviously, they might be on the bench, but they're going with Alex Hodgman and Neville Lalala, which is they have so much depth in the position that it doesn't really hurt them in that sense. But should do pretty well. Kurt Eklund, I think, will get a few tries to his name. I just had that feeling. But for the lock pairing, of course, you do the likes of Patrick Tuipulotu as well as Gerald Tuwadi. He was brilliant. I mean, Patrick Tuipulotu was brilliant last week against the Reds. I mean, he was just outstanding. Going to try and a try assist. So hopefully he'll be able to continue that form and obviously get just a bit more game time going into that. The international break for the All Blacks. So. It's a good time for him to get back into form, so that's a good sign for him, of course. For the Blues, you do the likes of Tom Robinson, who's that captain, of course, at the number 6 spot, so he's giving that captaincy up, and he's done very well since he's been captain, so he's done very well. I mean, even Dr. Pavali keeps his place at 7, and of course, Hoston Tutu comes in at 8 in replace of Kirai Obi. So, Tutu should do a lot of damage to this Western Force team, in my opinion, but hopefully see there. Of course, for the back line, you do have the likes of Finley Christie as well as Ontario Black, so that 9-10 combination, again, going to be pretty useful within this game. They've had a lot of chemistry, you can say, throughout this whole competition. It's worked very well, in my opinion. I mean, Finley Christie's been one of the Blues standout players, I think, throughout this whole competition. Probably one of the key players, I'd say, for the Blues. Other than that, I mean, with their centre pairing, of course, you do the likes of TJ Fani as well as Rico Lioni. Been a brilliant pairing to watch, obviously, a ton of chemistry there. I wouldn't say they've been outstanding because they actually haven't stood out, in my opinion. I think out of all the backs, that's the one position where both players haven't really stood out within the backs, but obviously they've been very creative in actually passing the ball to the wingers as well as Finley Christie and of course Terry Black. So they're just the playmakers in that sense, and they're done very well. Of course, the wingers, of course, you do the likes of Mark Talia at 11, and of course Bryce Heem at 14, so pretty good combination there. Both of them probably the best wingers, I'd say, at the moment for the Blues. And of course, you do the likes of Soren Sullivan at 15, who's just been sensational, really, in his kicking. I praise him every day, but his kicking in his territory is just improving day by day. So hopefully another good game from him. But of course, for the Western Force, you do the likes of Tom Robinson, Mariano, and of course Kai Tu. So it should be Ikatar. But those three should be a very interesting front row, of course, for the Western Force. Should bring a lot of I'm saying pressure towards the Blues front row, but it should be a good contest there to see who actually wins that scrum, and of course, again, more penalties in that sense. Yeah, of course, for the lock pairing, they're very good lock pairing in my opinion. I think they worked very well within this competition, with the likes of Jeremy Frosch as well as Tamani. Both of them have done very well together, so hopefully we'll see more of that within this game. I mean, with the loose forward pack, they do have the likes of, Fergus Lee Warner as well as Kotea, and the likes of Ollie Cannon, who was actually very good, very solid player actually recently, so he's definitely one to watch out for, I'd say, for the Western Force within this game. But yeah, for the backs, of course, you do the likes of Ian Pryor at the 9 spot, and of course Jake McIntyre at 10. So yeah, pretty good combo there. Obviously replacing those Argentinians with Capelli and Miotti. So I just like how they're able to do that in that sense. It's kind of a good switch I like. But yeah, obviously with the centre pairings, they have gone with the likes of Carl Goodwin as well as Tavia Kirjwani. So pretty good combination there. And of course Goodwin is the captain for the Western Force, and he's just been he's been the standout player in my opinion for the Western Force this whole competition. So yeah, hopefully he can just continue his progress within this game. Yeah, for the winners, of course, you do the likes of Jordan Olofea, who's coming back into the side, and of course he did get that last minute try against the Crusaders last week. So hopefully he'll be able to continue his try scoring form. I mean, even for the Richard Kahui, he's done very well throughout the whole competition. He's been very consistent in that sense, but yeah, done very well. And of course, Drake Saxon, who's at that 15th spot. So yeah, pretty good side overall, I'd say, for the Western Force. If I had to say who actually wins this game, I think I'm at the edge towards the Blues, but I wouldn't actually be surprised if this comes down actually to like no bonus point at all. But I think I'll have to back the Blues here instead of a bonus point. So for that reason, I'll say they've won this game at least. I'll say 35 points to. You know what? No, I'll say 38 points to 12. I'll say 38 points to 12 is my final prediction for that game. But anyway, moving on to the last game, of course, which is the Waratahs versus Chiefs. Should be a very interesting game to watch. I wouldn't say this is probably the out of the three, I think this is the one which has the least amount of importance, but obviously still a good game to watch, obviously with the Waratahs and Chiefs having very good backlines. The Waratahs, of course, they are playing at home, so they will have home advantage, so we'll see how that comes into their favour. So with the Waratahs, you do the likes of Andrew Tuhea, as well as Tom Horton, as well as Fowler Necker, who's all of them are actually coming in. It's one of those where they're all new actually to the team, which is kind of a new surprising one. I'm not saying like they haven't played with the team before, but it's just it's a complete switch overload into that front row. So we'll see all three of those players playing pretty well together. We'll have to wait and see how they play. But yeah, more or less with that, obviously with the lock pairings, you do the likes of Hugh Sinclair as well as Jack Wheaton, so a pretty good pairing there, I'd say, at least for the Waratahs. With their loose forward trio, you do the likes of Lachlan Swinton as well as Jack Dempsey, and of course the introduction of Warren Vossa Yako. So yeah, it should be interesting to see how he does in this game. With their back line, they actually have gone with Jack Grant as the number 9. To be honest, I haven't seen him play, so this will be a first for me to actually see how he does within this game. But of course, Will Harrison is that 10 spot, and obviously he maintains that after Ben Donaldson's injury, I believe, within the 3rd round. So yeah. Yeah, and Will Harrison, in my opinion, has actually done very well at 10, and he is more of a 10, so I think he just needs to play more time there. But yeah, obviously with the centre pairing, they have stuck with their best centre pairing with the likes of I'm just pronouncing it wrong. Wow, but yeah, Priese, of course, and of course Fotukai. But yeah, both of them have been very good, I'd say, throughout this whole competition, and yeah, both of them have been done pretty well. But obviously, with the wingers, they have gone with the likes of James Ram as well as Alex Newsom, so a pretty good combination there, say, for the Waratahs. And of course, you do the likes of Mark Nawa Kwantawasi, so yeah, a pretty good combination there, of course, in that 15th spot. And yeah, he can definitely bring a lot of, you could say, his catching ability is very good, but obviously he's very good in finding space as well, so we'll see what he does within this game. Of course, for the Chiefs, on the other hand, they have a pretty solid squad, obviously coming back from that win against the Rebels last week. They do have the likes of Aiden Ross as well as Bradley Slater, so a pretty good side, say, overall. They do the likes of Angus Taval as well, so a pretty good front row, to say the least. The lock parent, you do the likes of Zane Capelli, who's actually coming into the side in place of George Lloyd, and of course the other lock is who do you guess? Tupo Vala. He's probably in this standout lock in my opinion, I'd say, throughout this whole competition. So yeah, hopefully he can just continue his form really. I mean, with the loose forward parent and loose forward trio, I mean, it's probably one of the most physical / strongest trios in in all the packs, with Peter Sumakula as well as Lachlan Bashir and Luke Jacobson, of course, being the captain. So yeah, very good loose forward pack there. I mean, with their backline, they have gone with the likes of Brad Weber as well as Bryn Gatlin, so a pretty good combo there, obviously with Brad Weber coming back into the side. With their centre pairing, they have actually gone with Quintapair, and they've actually rested Axel Brown for the first time, I believe, for a while, and they've gone with Alex Nekavell defending that 13 spot. So a pretty good combination there. I haven't seen, to my knowledge, I don't actually think I've seen that combination before, so it'll be interesting to see how those two play together. But of course, with the wingers, you do have actually the return of Sean Manu at 11, so it should be interesting to see how he does. Hopefully, he can get a try on the board. Obviously last year he was in the conversation of, maybe getting an All Black call up, but of course, he hasn't played too much recently, so hopefully he can just kind of, get back into form. And obviously his partner in crime on the other side will be Sean Stevenson at 14. And the last player on this side, of course, is Caleb Trask, and hopefully his kicking game will be on point, as well as finding gaps within the defense. If I had to actually say who wins that game, I think I'm going to edge towards the Chiefs. I just think they're too strong in that sense. But I think this will be a closer game than what most people predict. So I actually don't think the Chiefs will get a bonus point victory here. I think it'll be a very close game. So I think the Chiefs will only win this game by at least, I'll say, 8 points. So I'm going to say they'll win this game 27 points to 19. Yeah, 27 points to 19 is my final prediction for that game. Anyway, that's going to go with the video. Just I hope you guys enjoyed. Definitely like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.